Perfect. Hi, hello guys. A very good evening to all of you. Appreciate that you guys are plugging in on a weekend session with us. Tonight's session is gonna be we are gonna be speaking about data, and with the help of data, how can we take decisions, right? And we have also lined up a speaker for you who is working in within the industry and can give you a little bit about how she has worked with the data and how it has helped her to grow the business or her profile within those aspects, right? So before we move further, if you have any questions particularly you want to ask from today's speaker, feel free to put it in the chat box and we will be more than happy to pick it up from there. Firstly, secondly, please let us know where are you joining from so that we can also know where you guys are located, and just a little bit communicative session before we start. And also let's wait for a few more people to plug in so that they can also get started from the initials, right? In the chat box, hello, hi, how are you guys doing? Good. Yes, there will be. No, there will be no certificate. But if we complete the course, then there will be a certificate. Oh, perfect! Somebody is joining us from Ukraine. That's great. Good evening, guys. Good evening. Perfect. Just let us know if you guys can hear us properly and see us. Perfect. Somebody is joining from Chandigarh. Oh, somebody is joining us from Kenya. That's great to see people are joining even out of India. Perfect. Israel. Clear. Okay, perfect. I believe we are technically sorted. So I think we shall start this session. I will be just bringing in the host. Before that, I will just give you a little bit brief about today's host. So she graduated in 2020, right? And right now she is working with Microsoft and she is a data and applied scientist, right? So please feel free to give her any questions if you have. Over to you, Shailja, now.
Hey, hi, Lavin. Thanks for
Hi.
having me here, first of all. Hi,
It's a
everyone.
pleasure.
Yeah, so talking about me, I guess you did a very good introduction for me. I am Shailja Mishra, and currently I'm working as a data and applied scientist at Microsoft. And I plan to give you all the necessary information regarding data science and answer all your doubts regarding that today.
Perfect. So, before we dive into this session, I will just give you a basic brief about, what we are going to be covering, what are your learnings going to be once you are done with this session, right? So, the major gist you have understood that we are going to be speaking about data and how data can help in decision making, right? And also how it can shape our business, right? Firstly, secondly, now of course it comes ki ab pad liya, ab kya hoga usse, right? So once you are done with understanding this part of the line, right, you can become a business analyst, right, or you can become a data analyst, right, or you can become a data scientist, right? Perfect. I think I have given you the future possibilities what you can become. All right. Before we move further, I just want to understand from the audience that from their perspective, right? What do they understand कि क्या है data science? कैसे ये काम करता है? What is your perception in the most layman language? It could be a one liner, it could be one word, whatever it is. I would be more than happy to see it in the comment section. Do we have any questions? Perfect. I think people will start plugging in as they are coming in. Perfect. I think Shailja, I think we should start with our session. So we have already lined up few of the questions for you folks. So let's get started on those bases. All right. So I would, of course, Shailja. So the first question is that, right, how particularly this segment of the industry is affecting the market, right? And आज की जनरेशन बोलती है ना इसमें कूल क्या है, सो इफ यू कैन जस्ट लेट द ऑडियंस नो व्हाट आर द कूल फैक्टर्स do you have in this set of the industry.
So I guess that's a very good question to start this actual introduction of the data science part. So frankly, data science is currently the most coolest term everyone is talking about. It's the buzz in the
Mhm.
market. But if I talk about how is data science actually helping and what exactly is this data science concept? So nowadays, mostly all of the companies, the entire industry is switching towards using data science. And how is it helping? It's helping tremendously to grow the revenue of the company because ultimately that's the goal. So if I tell you the cool things about data science, let me quote a few examples because we Gen Zs understand more through examples. So we
Correct.
use Amazon, we use Netflix, we use all you most extensively used applications for e-commerce and recommendation system. So do we know this thing that on the background, it's the whole data science algorithms that are driving those platforms? How? What are we buying? What kind of purchase history do we have? What kind of browsing patterns do we have? What kind of feedback do we give? All of these things are taken into consideration into data science algorithms, and then companies come up with recommending us that okay, you bought this, you may want to buy this as well. You saw this, you may want to see something like this. How does that happen? It's data
Hmm.
science. Again, let me quote another example. We use Uber, Ola, Rapido, all of these ride sharing apps. Again, data science is the background of these particular applications. What kind of riding patterns do we follow? How often do we ride? Which places do we go often? What kind of traffic is there in a particular area? All these things are taken into consideration, and then the perfect route is getting generated for us. The perfect pricing is getting generated for us. So there are hundreds of examples in financial services, in healthcare, in social media, marketing. We all see so much of advertisements every day. We don't like that, but we search for something and then we go to another platform and we see the same thing getting advertised to us. How is that happening? It's all about data science. The targeted advertisement, the recommendations, and all of these things are happening because of these data science algorithm. And that's what makes it cool, I guess.
Yeah, I believe when even I was researching how data can be used in even marketing perspective, right? So there are a lot of people who say कि यार you understand how the user is, right? And based upon that you take how you should plan your next campaign. So I believe it's important in marketing, like you said, it's important in taking the pharmaceutical decision, right? And of course to grow business in total aspect, I think it's more than important, right? But nowadays the question also comes, right? हमने data समझो बना दिया, right? We have all the data, right? But what is important, how to use it, करेक्ट कि
True.
हम उसमें स्ट्रैटेजीज एंड प्लानिंग, राइट, एंड उसके बेसिस पे हाउ कैन वी forecast a business, right? If there's anything data can help us to be in the on the better ground of taking a decision, how can it help us? So if you can just answer that.
Again, I would say very good question because this is very important to know that we know this is data science, this is the cool thing about data science. But until we know how do we use those data science concepts to get a good business running, there is no point of understanding data science. So companies use these data science algorithms in various ways. Let me again give you examples around that. First of all, earlier, let me take you back to the era when data science was not there and everything
Hmm.
used to happen manually. We used to make decisions manually. Now that has been kind of changed to data driven decision making. This is the buzzword. So, what do we
Hmm.
mean by data driven decision making is companies have ample of data getting generated. So, data gets generated even in 1 seconds. So, these kinds of data that we are generating helps companies to understand market trends, customer behavior, how are they
Hmm.
performing, which are their loose areas, which are their strong areas. And after getting all these data information, then companies use those data to decide whether which place they want to invest in, which is the most profitable area they'll invest in. So all of these decisions are now powered by data, and that again leads company to higher revenue. If that would have been done manually, that wouldn't have been reached to that place. So
Hmm.
first and most important part here is data driven decision making. After
Yeah.
that, a lot of prediction is now happening, what we call as
Hmm.
predictive analysis. Like now I can forecast, I as in my company, I can forecast the outcomes. I can forecast the trends. I
Hmm.
understand what is the pattern right now, and using the current pattern, using the current performance, market condition, I can forecast, okay, this is the particular area market is going, so I should also invest in that area. Or this is the particular area where I get more profit, so I can go ahead with that. So prediction is again very important area where companies are using data science concept. Then comes customer segmentation, and which is very important. Like you, Lavan, may not be interested in one product, but I may be interested in that. So companies need to target audience as per their needs. Like only if someone is interested into a particular product, they'll get the advertisement around that. I'm
Hmm.
interested in another product, I'll get advertisement around that. So these strategies and the product development that happens, right, it is based on customer segmentation, which is
Hmm.
again not possible manually until data science is there. So there are a lot of such examples where companies are using all of these strategies, and this is how these strategies are helping companies to actually plan and forecast their business and eventually raise the revenue.
Perfect, perfect. I think a lot of people started taking notes because I started taking notes from what you just said right now.
Yeah, because I read comments, people are saying, is it paid or free? So I guess, yeah, get this free information then.
Perfect, perfect. So my next question for you is something key. What are the when you take data-driven decisions, right? What are the key business challenges you face? Like, what are the aspects you consider before you take those decisions?
So I've never heard people asking this question, but I'm glad you asked this because it is important to know the challenges. It's just that everyone is using data science, we'll go and use data science, we'll generate revenue. The process is not that simple. At least there are a lot of challenges we face as a data domain people when we try to do this data driven decision making, which I talked about. So the first, and I would say the foremost challenge that we face is the quality of the data. I told, right, all of these data science algorithms are driven by one thing, that is data. And until and unless your data is accurate, you'll not be able to make good decisions. So if in case, and that is very common situation, that we get poor quality data, when we get poor quality data, it can lead to not so good results because that will be biased and you'll not be able to perform decision making, which would be reliable. So, data quality and availability is the first challenge which we face as data scientists when we are dealing with such scenarios. After that comes data is abundant. And when I say
Hmm.
abundant, we cannot even imagine the amount of data that is getting generated. So when when we have to deal with this abundance of data, the primary
Hmm.
challenge that we face is that we have to integrate everything. It can come in the form of like the data is getting generated in 1 second in sensors, and data might come in like 1 weeks also. So we have to
Hmm.
cater to all of these needs, different data, and we have to integrate everything at once. And then I think that that's my personal opinion, that one major challenge that companies and people are facing right now is change management, because companies and people are used to those legacy ways of dealing and making decisions, not through data driven decision making. So there are a lot of shifts that need to be required in people's mentality to actually go ahead and perform these new ways of decision making. But I would say the most important challenge all above these is, I think, is the skill and talent gap. There is, I told you, there are so much of opportunities coming for data science roles, for data science applications. Every company is using it in background. Everywhere data science is there. But the challenge that we face is we don't have those skilled data professionals who actually, like data analysts, data scientists, who actually can help bring in all these technologies in companies and help us to generate the revenue and perform good data, perform data driven decisions. So these are major challenges which we
Hmm.
face, which is taking us against the data science part.
Perfect, perfect. So I will just start taking a few questions from the comment section because I think they are good questions, right? I think a lot of people will get a help from those. So there's just one question from Ramatulsi. I will just put it in the put it on the screen for the users to see, right? The question is that how to start a good career in the field of data science. If we just can just give it in a one liner so that we can get started with the questions.
Sure. I guess that's the most important question. The people are like, we don't want to know what exactly is data science. Tell me how we get there. So I guess, yeah, in order to start a good career in data science, you should be familiar with tech stacks. So I think there are a lot of things that comes into consideration. First of all is knowing a programming language. That should be
Hmm.
your basic understanding. And the most important, I would say the most preferred language currently in the market is Python. So, first step towards going into data science should be knowing a Python programming language. After that, you can start with developing more skills. Then you need to learn SQL. Then you need to jump onto machine learning, statistics. So it's a kind of step by step field. But I would say if you want to, because you mentioned this thing, good career in the field of data science, take this step by step approach. Follow this roadmap of going towards data science. I've seen a lot of people, they just start, just they hear data science and they start learning machine learning. That's not the case. You should be familiar with the basics. The foundation should be strong. And how is it? It's Python, it's SQL, it's statistics, and the concepts of data science. And then on top of it, you can go in at advanced levels.
Perfect, perfect. If I take the next question, it is coming from Vignesh. He's asking what skills are used in data science.
I guess that's what I mentioned, but let me put it another way. When we say
Mhm.
skills, it's not necessarily technical skills. It's data science skill is a combination of technical as well as soft skills. On
Mhm.
technical front, you should know Python, you should know SQL, you should know machine learning, you should know statistics, and then you can advance to more complex areas. Then
Correct.
again, the very important part comes, you learn all of these things and then you think that okay, now I am a full stack data scientist, I can go and crack interviews. It doesn't happen like that. All your learning should be put into a place. You should have some relevant industry projects on your resume. So those actually count as very important skill in your resume, that you have good projects. And then comes soft skills. Soft skill is very important because you have to be very good at storytelling. You have
Mhm.
everything, you know everything, you learned all of these things, you made a project out of that. But until you're able to communicate what all you know and what all you have implemented, all of your knowledge goes into vain again. So I would say all of these skills make you a good data scientist.
Perfect. Before we move further, guys, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. In this session, later on, we are gonna be telling how where you can see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years, right? Of course, if you are putting so much of effort, then of course you will be thinking that what are the salary, what can we expect in terms of salary, and what are the positions we can, get into, and who's the better person, who has already been in the industry and can give you the resources to start your career, right? Perfect. And we have also given a link in the description so that you can go over there, apply for it, and understand more about it, right? Now back to our questions. Perfect. So, I believe when I also do a little bit of a market analysis, right? It's not like I'm dealing with one person, two person. I'm dealing with like bunch. It's like a very heavy data, right? कुछ data यहाँ पे होगा, कुछ data यहाँ पे होगा, कुछ data यहाँ पे होगा, right? So, as a data scientist, as a person, what I was understand, what I was, what I want to make decisions is that कि मैं एक data को एक ही set में कैसे लगा पाऊँ, right? How can I visualize the data to even make the business decision? So if you can just put a few words on that.
Sure. So, data visualization is, I think, the very important part of actual decision making. Because, like
Hmm.
you said, right, we have ample of data. And when we have ample of data, that comes from different sources. Okay. So, now what you have to do is bring in all the data, put it at a same place, and then understand what exactly is there. Because data is not those rows and columns, data is that hidden information on trends that are there behind that, and this is where data visualization comes into picture.
Hmm.
Since you already quoted this example, let me take the same example. Social media marketing. Okay. Suppose I want to analyze, I'm a person who is running a social media marketing campaign and I want to analyze the outcomes and I want to visualize those. So I may want to know what are the number of likes, number of shares, number of comments, how many clicks have been happened, and all of these metrics. Okay. Now, How will data visualization help me? First of all, I'll get the trend. Okay, how will I able to understand the trend? Okay, this particular month, this particular campaign brought me this much revenue. Next month, this dropped. Again, next month. So, this trend that we see using different charts, using different graphs, and all of these details can help me understand what has been the trend over time. If I come
Hmm.
to you and I show you, okay, Lavin, this is an Excel sheet. These are the rows, these are the columns. Now understand whatever you want to understand. That is also a data, right? But on the other hand, I come to you and I show you a dashboard where you have pie chart, graphs, and you have line chart where you click on particular year and you'll get all the details of that year in terms of demographics, in terms of all of these details. What would you prefer? Obviously, the second part, right? So that is the importance of data visualization. One at one place you'll not be understand the same data, but on the other place, when it is visualized in the form of dashboards, you'll be able to
Hmm.
understand anything you want to. You want to compare something, right? Suppose you want to compare two campaigns. That okay, this was better or this was better. Which brought me more revenue? Which brought me more leads? How can you do
Hmm.
that? Just create bar charts and you'll be able to understand using visualization. You want to do analysis in terms of okay, I did this thing, so it made me this much revenue. But when I did the other thing, it made me this much of revenue. So how is this affecting it directly, or is there any direct impact or not? So if you want to do analysis, if you want to do comparison, if you want to understand trends, all of these are basic examples where we actually perform visualization, and that makes life very easy. Frankly, if I talk about myself, I always prefer to understand data through visuals rather than seeing those boring Excels.
What I believe is that when even I see the data in front of me, I think that those charts only speak to me that where to go, where not to go, what will help, what not will help. So in that, it comes in very handy, I would say. Perfect.
True.
I think the next question which I have for you, I think we have already picked up from the comment section, but if you have more words on it, please let me know. If not, then we'll skip to the other question. The question is, what kind of tools are required for data science?
Sure. So let me elaborate on a bit on that part because I covered less of it initially. So
Mhm.
I don't want to complicate a lot of things for my audience because when we hear of data science, we hear hundred of tools, and that makes us over bombarded with like, okay, I need to learn so many things. But I would give you a very simple roadmap, tools or whatever you call it. Focus on programming. Python should be your first choice. R is also one language, but I would say focus on Python. That's my
Hmm.
preferred choice, I would say. Then goes to SQL. I have heard, told, and listened multiple times SQL is the bread and butter of data domain. You cannot
Hmm.
move forward in any role until you know SQL. So Python, SQL should be your basics, should be the foundational layer on which you'll make your data science career. After that comes statistics and mathematics. I know this sounded very fearful. A lot of people fear stats, maths, and all of these things. But for data science, you need to have a good foundation in all of these things because until you know the mathematics and statistics, you'll not be able to understand machine learning. Then
Correct.
comes data manipulation and analysis. People think that data scientists always have to do machine learning. That's not the case. 80% of the time of a data scientist actually goes into analyzing the data, cleaning the data, making
Hmm.
the data in a proper format. So you should be able to do all these manipulation and analysis. And after
Hmm.
that comes the most buzzword, machine learning. You should be able to understand the fundamentals of machine learning. What is supervised learning, unsupervised learning, what is feature engineering, model selection, evaluation, optimization, all of these things should be like after that. And then comes data visualization. I guess I already clarified how important it is to know how to visualize data because that makes your life easier. So that should be your step by step journey or step by step roadmap to actually learn for a data science career.
Perfect. I will just quickly go into the comment section because there are a lot of people questioning it. There's someone is asking any roadmap for it. I think, bro, buddy Ganesh, we are already doing that, so you can just go through the whole webinar. And if you have any questions, then let us know. Right? How to become a data analyst and be a professional on this job. I think that we are going to be covering in the later on of this section. So be there. The next is R, Python, Spark, Tableau, Power BI. Enough, madam. If you can just
Uh,
pick it up.
okay, sure. So, see, we are here dealing with the role of a data scientist. One important thing I want to mention here is, and this is something I have heard that people have a bit difficulty in understanding. When we talk about data domain, there are three basic uh, choice that you want to go ahead in. Either it's a data analyst, or it's a data engineer, or it's a data scientist. So the skills that you mentioned, Python or R, Spark, Tableau, Power BI, this is something which is more towards data analyst role. Because as a data analyst, your major work is around analyzing the data. And for that, you need Python, you need SQL, you need Excel, and then you need Power BI or Tableau to visualize. That's it. But when we jump towards data engineering, then we need to
Hmm.
understand, along with those things, we should know big data, we should know Hadoop, we should know Spark, we should know data warehousing. So that is a different niche itself. And then for data science, I guess I already covered. So for data science, you'll need to know all of those skills. This is something which is particular to data analyst.
Perfect. Now Chetan is asking what is the way to get into good companies. Again, we will be covering it later. Guys, I see like the questions are a little bit repetitive. So please, when we are answering it, go over there. I'm quite sure you guys are excited to know about the personalized questions which you are asking. But please, we have our questions. If it doesn't fall into that category, I will for sure pick it up. Right?
Sure.
Perfect. I think as you spoke about the tools right now, right? If you can just give a little bit more about, what are the tools required for for data scientists particularly, and how they can go through it so that their decision making or their job becomes very easy.
Okay. So I guess tools wise, like I said, focus on programming, focus on SQL, then focus on visualization through Excel, Power BI, Tableau, or whatever suits you best. Then jump to machine learning. Sorry. Then maybe you can cover mathematics and statistics. After that, understand the basics of data science. What is classification? What is regression? What is supervised, unsupervised learning? And then as per your interest, because data science is a very broad domain, and I saw one comment which said that, ma'am, data science is a very broad domain, which one should we go for? So that's something. There is no hard and fast rule that you want to go into NLP, you want to go into computer vision, you want to go into deep learning. So once you start understanding the basics, right, basics of data science, then you'll understand yourself that whether you have interest in computer vision or you want to go into NLP, whichever niche or domain you choose, you need to upskill yourself in that particular area. And then again, all of these things are of no use until you have some good projects around this in your resume. I just want to highlight that part, that don't only learn, implement as well.
Perfect. So that's where Newton School comes in handy, right? Coming from the marketing team. So when we were designing this course, right, we particularly looked into key how a person in this course not only learn the theoretical part of it, but also at the same time learn the practicality, how they can use all of these tools, right? Because theory आपने पढ़ ली, right? फिर आप tools ही नहीं use कर पाए, and there won't be any real time application usage, right? So that's where we have been covering all the tools, how they are being used, how you can use it, and how you can make better decisions out of it. Perfect. So next question is somewhere going to be Selja, that how does a day in a data science scientist look like? I'm quite sure a lot of people are going to be looking forward to this question.
Sure. And I often hear this question. So first thing that I say is, guys, we are also humans. We work like normal people. So, but yeah, our work is towards data science. And if you talk about how my day looks like, because I can talk about myself. So one myth I've already cleared, and I'd like to emphasize again: data scientists do not only write Python script and always perform machine learning. No, that is not the case. And frankly, it's an 80-20 ratio. 20% of our time we are actually performing machine learning. 80% of our time goes into, first of all, understanding the business. What is the objective? Why are we actually using data science? Is because, not because data science is the hype word, we'll just go ahead and use data science concepts. If there is a need, only then we'll go and use these complex algorithms. Then after that, our primary work is to get all the data at one place, understand what kind of data do we have. Data never comes clean. So majority of our time of our day as a data scientist goes into cleaning the data, extracting better information out of it, and making the data in a proper format. After that, we'll start in terms of writing Python scripts, performing exploratory data analysis. Like these are some heavy terms, I know, but you'll be able to understand these things once you start learning. And then after we have done all of these things, we have a data handy, it's in a good format, it's ready to get trained using different machine learning algorithms. We then go ahead and write different Python scripts and train our data. Finally, we had an objective initially, remember? So at the end of the day, all these efforts are in vain until we get something successful, something fruitful out of it. So we have to evaluate our results and then finally present something that we have got to our managers. They're always someone above us.
I think that's quite an interesting and a hectic day. That's what I can figure it out. But I'm quite sure at the end of the day, if the data is fine, I'm quite sure the results are fruitful for the same. I'm assuming. Perfect.
Yes.
So there's a question by Rama.
Mhm.
What is meant by data processing and data cleaning, ma'am?
Okay. So I when we say data cleaning, it's not like data is dirty. If just to clear that myth, the data that we get is like we just if you want to imagine, we get data in GBs and TBs sometime. Okay, so that's a huge bunch of data that's what we are getting. In order to get that data, we have to do a lot of efforts in terms of creating ETL pipelines and all of that. But we cannot take that data and put it into our machine learning algorithm. If we do that, right, just because the data is not clean, it's not in proper format, our outputs won't be the one that we expected. So we need to clean the data. When we say clean the data, we have to check whether do we have any empty data, we have non-significant data, some data in some column. Like suppose, just giving an example, there's a column that talks about people's name, and in that I have my phone number written. That's a non-clean data. So that's just a small example. Cleaning is a rigorous process that we have to perform to convert the data into raw form into something which is of proper format. So cleaning the data, removing nulls, removing duplicates data, removing extra columns which are not readed, removing extra information, all of these comes under data pre-processing because the word says, right, pre-processing. Before actually processing that data, you have to just check whether it is good or not. So this check is what we call it pre-processing.
Quite an interesting question, Rama. I must say that. Perfect. So the next question which I have for you, right, is how does data science enable business to gain a competitive advantage in the market?
I think that that's a very good question, and I feel the major pointers here, how a company or any business can gain a competitive advantage. Currently, ChatGPT is the most buzzword in the market. Everyone is talking about ChatGPT. One thing that you would have seen in terms of how do we use ChatGPT, we need something, we go ahead and write it, and we get the answers. That's how useful a particular data science application can be. Coming to business, the primary use case of any data science application that helps any company is we make decision using data. We make decision by understanding business dynamics, by understanding market trends, by understanding customer behavior. And that's how we are advantageous. We are at better position. We are at a competitive position. After that, because of these use of data science applications and not going into manual ways of doing things like it used to happen before, it has increased the efficiency and productivity of the companies at a very higher level. It has reduced the cost of a lot of things which can be done not manually but using these applications. So again, if you are able to be more productive and be more efficient, we are again at a higher point. Then customers are very much satisfied because now all the experiences I have, like suppose I'm using multiple applications, all the applications I open and use, I see it's very personalized as per me, as per my as per my ways of doing things. How is that happening? If I'm satisfied because of anything, I am a customer, the company is getting benefited. So all of these things which companies use, and that's the final outcome, like data driven decision making, improved efficiency, productivity, and then most important, very much improved and personalized customer experience. It eventually leads to what? Increase in companies revenue, increase in companies sale. So all of these are, I would say, these are some pointers that have helped businesses to gain a competitive advantage. If a company is not using data science in its approach, and if a company is using it, I think we can see who is getting more profit because of these.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. So what are the like? if I ask you, what are the key concepts of data science that are being, used, or that are helpful in taking the business decision, you would say?
Again, a very important question that everyone who is aspiring or wants to go into data science domain should know. Because data science is a very broad domain. Until you understand what is the most important part, I would say journey would be tough. First is
Hmm.
descriptive analytics. When I say descriptive analytics, what I mean is companies examine the historical data to understand that what has happened in the past, what performed well, what did not, how actually the past performance was there. And using those things, those data, those analysis, companies then determine their future actions. This is called descriptive analytics. And this is the primary, I would say, concept which companies use currently. After that comes diagnostic analytics. Like, if something happened like this, why? If I made a profit in this area, how did I made a profit? Were there some pointers because of which I made a profit in this area? If I'm not making good money in this particular area on a particular product, why is that happening? This understanding of a root cause of any problem or even success is what companies do very much. This is called diagnostic analytics, a very important concept of data science. Then we did a past study, we understood the reason. What is the reason to do all of this? To predict, right? Which we call predictive analytics.
Hmm.
What we want to do is we want to understand what happened in the past and why it happened in order to predict what we should do in future, what should be our future of actions. If market is going in particular direction, I should also go there. Why should I go in the opposite way? If I don't go into that way, I'll not be profitable. So these kind of predictions that companies make come under the very major important area of data science, that is predictive analytics. Then comes machine learning. So I would say that's the father of all these things that I just said. We talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about IoT. Everything is getting intelligent day by day. Our devices are intelligent, our appliances are intelligent. All of this is happening because of machine learning, because machines are able to learn a lot of things, because we as a data scientist are helping them to learn. So most important concept apart from all other things is machine learning. You should be able to understand the concepts of regression, classification, clustering, recommendation system. All of these are the key concepts of data science, I would say.
Perfect, perfect. I can see a lot of questions coming in, guys. We are just a short of time over here, so I will try to pick it up as many questions which are not in, in the my question sets. If there's anything, I will pick it up. If not, then I'm really sorry for that. Right? But I really appreciate that you guys are more keen to learn from Shailja, I'm assuming. Perfect. So this is something about, like you said, कि algorithms आज की डेट में आज बहुत लोग बात करते हैं, right? Can we discuss over here that, what is the role of machine learning algorithms, in supporting the business level decisions?
I I guess I would say foundation. When we talk about anything, right? When we build a house, the foundation should be strong. Until that, house won't be that strong. So that is what machine learning is. If you want to draw an analogy here, the role of machine learning for any business level decision is very, very crucial because it makes the basis, it makes the foundation of everything. I like, for example, let me talk about a bank. Okay, so any financial institution that is running, they perform fraud detection, risk assessment. We do a if something happens, like any fraudulent transaction happen, we get notified literally in a minute. How does that happen? That is the power of machine learning algorithms that are running, that these financial institutions are taking into account. These e-commerce everywhere nowadays, we are paying, everything is online, we are doing the transactions online. If any such fraudulent transaction occurs, we are notified in a minute. That is a very good application of machine learning algorithms. Then we talk about forecasting and inventory management. I'm running a very big company. I have a big inventory. I have a lot of products there. I need to know how to make those products reach my customer. So what is the best way? What is the best route that if I'm making a lot of products and you are my customer, let's say you go to a mall to buy that particular product, but you don't see that product there. So you have hundreds of options. You'll go and buy another product. I don't want that because that would not make me profit. So that is again very important for the companies, and that is where again machine learning algorithms comes in. They help the companies for understanding how much demand will be there, so that I'm prepared. I need to make 100 products. I need to know that my products are reachable to the customers. So my inventory should be like that. My route should be generated like that. So these are like hundreds of examples. I am a big binge watcher. I prefer Netflix over anything. So I just go and watch a movie. Next time I come, they'll say, because you watched it like next time, last time, now you may want to see these 10 movies. And 99% of the time, I just go ahead and say, okay, nice recommendation here. How is that happening? The machine learning algorithm that is supporting that recommendation there. So all of these examples, and yeah, one favorite example of mine, my friends always say this thing to me, that if you want to book flights, don't search it and then maybe you want to go back and then search it again. When you'll come back, the prices will increase. How is that happening? We are booking hotels, we are booking flights, we are booking all of these things. Every time the price changes. Or sometimes I prefer to open in incognito, the price is different. If I do normally, the price is different. How is that happening? Companies are using the machine learning algorithms to understand your trends, what kind of behavior you have. And based on your behavior, they are creating the prices on the fly. A very common use case. All of these are machine learning algorithms.
Perfect. Quite an what do you say? I keep on speaking about these things with my friends, right? But coming from the person who has been in the industry and sharing actually what exactly happens in the back end of it, right, gives a lot of understanding of what exactly is happening on the backstage of it. Perfect. I think I have seen a lot of questions are coming in, right, regarding that. What are the future trends, right? We are living in the modern age of our era, right? Where the technology and with the help of the internet, every day there is a new change, every day there is a new trend, right? So how can they, how can they cope up firstly with this industry, right? And any development which is happening, how they can keep on initiating that in their own projects.
I guess that's the need of the hour. This question, the answer to this question is the need of the hour. Because, like you said, we are living in a very transformative era. I guess that era happened when we got internet. The life changed for everyone. That was a boom that came in. I guess this is the second era, and we are very privileged to be a part of this era. Everything is moving towards artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, and these are the buzzwords. Not only words, you can see in, like I've given you hundreds of examples, I guess you can see all of these getting in the applications of all these you can see all around. So if I talk about the future trends, I would say the first and foremost thing that is yet to come, and a lot of work is going on in that way, is the AI, making the AI responsible. A lot of people still have this thing that I go ahead and ask something, maybe the answer is not correct. Let's take ChatGPT's example, because that's AI. There is no person sitting on behind of that, so there is no backup to that. So artificial intelligence needs to be more responsible, needs to be more explainable, and I guess that's according to me one of the future trends we'll see later. Then we have a lot of things are there. I talked about Internet of Things, right? We are seeing that things, devices are getting more and more automated, more and more data science is coming in. But there's still a lot of things that need to come in terms of making things more advanced, more analytical. So all of these things I think is something which is in future trends. And apart from all of these things, ChatGPT is the buzz. I think there are so many ample of application that can be possible using this simple concept of natural language processing here and high level languages. All of these things, I think there is future trends are abundant. But yeah, second part of your question was how do we deal with that? Because
Hmm.
I myself, as a data scientist, think that every day I need to learn something new. And that is, I guess, the only way out here. You just think that you go ahead and learn all of these things and that's it. You become a data scientist. No, that's not the it. That's not it. That's the start. Every day something is changing, something new is coming. And it's an ever changing and expanding field. The only way to cope up with that is to be aware of the technology that is coming in, to upskill yourself every day, because you've chosen the path that is getting bigger and bigger, so you have to upskill yourself every day, I think.
Perfect. Considering that, our course is also designed in this way. By the way, a link is in the description. So our industry trainers, right? They come from the places they have been working, right, and share the wisdom, right? That how are they coping up and what are the new technologies they are working, right? And they tell it to the students in the real time class so that they can also understand how they can use it, how they can cope up, and once they get out of the class, right, how exactly it will be beneficial for them and how flexible they will be once they get out of the learning of it. Perfect. I think the next set of questions which I have for you, right? We are coming at the end of this session, guys. If you have any questions, let us know, right? But the main important question which a lot of people ask कि ठीक है अब हमने पढ़ाई कर ली अब हमने कोर्स कर लिया राइट सर्टिफिकेशन ले ली बट अब हमारी सैलरी राइट या if we want to get into the industry, how we should get it or how to get started about it. If you can just share a little bit about that.
I guess that's the most motivating question that everyone has. That okay, I learned all of these things, I know all of these things, but what about money? Because at the end, that's a hard truth. We all are working for that. So I would say one second, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe when we are working as a data scientist as an entry level job, 5 to 7 LPA is something that is the current market. I would say that's the current pay that people are getting. Again, that's not a hard and fast number. People do get a much above package than that. People may not able to secure this much package. All of this depends on your capabilities, your interview experiences. But I think as an entry level job, 5 to 7 LPA is something you can get easily, and then comes the hierarchy. You start from junior data scientist, you go to normal data scientist, one two principal data scientist, and as and when you increase in this hierarchy, right, your money increases exponentially. And when I say exponentially, it does.
Perfect. This is considering that how to get started, right? The next question is, I think it is the most recruiters' favorite question. I would say that
Mhm.
where do they see themselves in the next 5 to 10 years of this life?
You sounded like an HR when you said that. How do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? But okay, so this is a dynamic question, I would say. If someone who is just entering into this data science domain, if if they want to see themselves in where they'll be in the next 5 years, because you'll be having 5 years of experience in data science. You may want to, if you are someone who wants to work individually, you may become a principal data scientist or not, maybe data scientist 2 or 3, depending on the organization you are. But you'll have ample amount of experiences working on different domains of data science. Maybe you might work with a bank to help their problem. Maybe you might have your own product where you're solving a lot of things using data science. So you will have a lot of experience in terms of different domains. You'll have a lot of expertise in different data science skills. And if you are someone who wants to manage people, you might also become a manager in 5 years. You're managing a team of data scientists. So these are different options. People may go as per their aspirations, but 5 years is a big amount of time in data science. Lot, because if you see 5 years back, there was very little people talking about data science. Now everyone is talking about data science. So that's something difficult to tell where you'll be in the next 5 years, but that's how companies progress.
Perfect. I think it's the time that we have come to the end of this session. I believe you guys took a lot of wisdom from Selja. I think I took it a lot, considering from the marketing standpoint, and of course the way you delivered some personalized marketing decisions. I appreciate that, Selja. Perfect. I think that's all from our side, Selja. If you have any closing word for our audience, if you have any, let us know.
Sure. So, first of all, thank you so much for you as well as for audience. I see a lot of very good questions coming in, and the enthusiasm is I see in the people learning data science that motivates me very much. But yeah, I would just want to close here because I did not give my formal introduction before as such. So, just want to say because I'm a computer science graduate, that doesn't mean that only computer science graduate can become data scientist. If you are someone, because I see that comments, if you are coming from a different domain, if you don't come from the same technical background, you still can make in data science. You just need to have the relevant skills. If not experience, you should have good projects and then aim for such roles. So
Perfect.
yeah, that's
So
it from my side, Navin.
perfect. Guys, if you have any questions, I think there are a lot of questions which we missed. Some repetitive one, but some of the good questions I have seen. I'm sorry for not taking it up, but for sure we will come once again with the webinar live session, and we will try to pick up as many questions as possible. Until then, you can surf on Newton School website. I have given you particularly the link of data science in the description. You can go check it out, surf around what is our offering. If it relates with you, make sure you can make sure that you fill up the form, and the concerned team will get in touch with you. If you have any questions, they will give you a personalized answer for the same, right? uh, until then, have a great evening. Appreciate that you guys are joining in on us Friday evening. I hope you guys have a very great evening with your friends or with your family. Have fun.
Thank
Perfect.
you.
Perfect. Bye bye. See you, everybody.